Yo, it's Captain, and it's a Dark Souls Diary number 26. I had to look. It is, that's what we did. Just I don't know, probably a quick recap today, because I can't say that we did something, but once I start talking, somehow it always ends up like 30, 40 minutes. We'll see how it goes. I don't think we did a lot today, but I did try to like find some cool little clips. I got some more video again today. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if you're liking the video or not. It's it doesn't I don't think it adds too much to the prep. I just have to kind of like find some fun moments. So it's not too bad, but if you ain't getting anything out of it, I might as well not worry about it, right? So but what do we do today? What do we do in Dark Souls? 26th time I've played Dark Souls. It's my first Souls and whatever, but so it's a 26th time with any Souls, but specifically the 26th time with Dark Souls Remastered. And we're trying to fill the Lord Vessel. We're kind of in the mid to late game. I don't know. We're either in the late game and like you fill the Lord Vessel and then it's over, or we're in the mid game and you fill the Lord Vessel and there's still some more to do. I don't know. We're somewhere in there. We're filling the Lord Vessel. We got Seath yesterday, with the last play session. It was yesterday, but for you on the video, it might not be. We got Seath, and that was our first big soul for the Lord Vessel. And so we're kind of just trying to decide where to go to next. I'll tell you what we did. We ended up doing no, it'll be fine. I like to give you like a preview, but honestly, this lead-in is going to give you that preview. So we're trying to figure out what to do today, and I could go to the catacombs. I could go to the demon ruins. Those are kind of top on the list. There's also the Blighttown secret that people keep talking to me about. So people were saying you should probably do catacombs before demon ruins. And I made the dragon bone fist because I'm dumb, but I thought it'd be funny because I wanted to punch the skeletons, and my big hammer was too big for the catacombs. And then I wanted to upgrade it because it's the only time I'm ever going to use it, and I figured I might as well go all in and try to get the S scaling on the final +5. So I needed dragon scales. So it was kind of like people, it was like go to the catacombs before demon ruins, and then people were like, the Blighttown secret has some dragon scales. So what we ended up doing today, what we accomplished today, was we did the Blighttown secret, we did the Great Hollow, and we found Ash Lake. That's what we did today. That's what this diary is going to cover. I don't know. Is it too big of a lead in? Maybe. I'm pretty tired, to be honest. I'm a little out there. But what I did first is I was like, you know what? Before I really commit to this, I want to make sure the fists work in the catacombs. And that'll bring us to our first little clip here while I talk about this. So I went ahead and went to the catacombs with the dragon bone fist just to make sure it would work. We killed the skeletons outside of the catacombs pretty easy, but people are like, no, the ones in the catacombs are harder. I'm like, all right, these fists suck. Let's see if they work. And sure enough, you could indeed punch a skeleton. It was quite satisfying. It did work, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. We can make this work. And I kind of wanted to run through the catacombs right then. I ultimately decided not to, because this is literally the only time I'm gonna use these. I just decided to beat the shit out of this guy and take his lunch money. It was the only time we're gonna use these fists in the catacombs because they're really not that good. They scale off strength, and I have a lot of strength, but it's just not doing all that much, to be honest. Because I tried to farm some scales off the dragons that you can farm them on, the blue dragons on the bridge in front of Dragontown, and dude, I have to hit them like 15 times. It is insane. So we ultimately left, but But it was fun to test it, and we did. It's like, all right, it does work in there. It doesn't seem to work anywhere else. But I was like, you know what? I want them scaled all the way up. I wanted the S scaling. So let's go ahead. Let's do the Blighttown secret first. And let's get that S scaling. Because I think I only needed 6 more scales. I thought I needed 5 more scales, but I needed 6 more scales. And people told me that I could get people told me I could get 5 in the Blighttown secret. So I was like, yo, let's do it. And so we did. I like poured it over back to the Blighttown and walked. Actually, we started as a Chaos Witch because that's what people told me. We walked across the whole bog, got poisoned a million times. We ran into Onion Man because he said he was going to come down there. It was kind of just fortuitous. We ran into Onion Man and he's like, "Oh, hello. I'm out of poison blossom things and I'm probably going to die. You wouldn't happen to have any?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I was in the forest and they just drop off those trees like crazy." And I spent a long time in the forest, so here you go, buddy. And he was fine. So that was kind of nice. We'll get to advance his story a little bit. But then you just go, you go all the way to the other end of the bog. Well, not all the way. Most of the way to the other end of the bog. The other side of where you come down from Blighttown. So you're supposed to come down from Blighttown and then head towards the bell. If you go the other way, there's like a tree you can get to, and you can go up to it, and there's like a little, you kind of roll up the tree out of the bog, and then you go into the tree, and there's like a tunnel. It doesn't go nowhere, but there's soapstone that says, yo, maybe that's a secret wall. So you hit it, and then there's a chest, and you get the chest. And I left, 40 levels ago. I left because I was like, I got my chest. It felt good. People told me, no, Captain, it's not that kind of game. You gotta hit the secret wall behind the chest. I'm like, what? So this is a super, super secret area, right? And sure enough, we hit the wall behind the chest. Another area, and it actually opens up to a whole. It's a kind of a claustrophobic area, but it's a new area, and it's all inside a tree, and it's all here. I'll put the. I got some more video. It's all inside a tree, and it's all very rooty, and you're just like, what is going on? So somehow we went from Crystal Cave yesterday to finally getting to play the game normally. And we ended up back in the Crystal Cave. I have not planned. I forgot I moved my camera a little up. There you go. We'll just move it live. It's right in the middle of the YouTube video. Forgot I moved my webcam up during the stream. There you go. I fell. I might have distracted from the fall because I was moving the camera. But there you go. That was my first fall in the roots. And then we just had to do it again. But yeah, it's called the Great Hollow. And there's this bonfire right at the start, and then you just keep. Your whole goal is to go down, and you just keep going down and keep going down, and eventually you get to the bottom, and that's when some more cool stuff happens. But so we kind of this is where I'm thinking there's not. That the video might end up a little short because there's not too much to talk about in this descending. It's just full of roots, as you saw. There's just so much crazy stuff going on, and it's just a super, super tense area because, like I said, we just got out of the Crystal Cave and it was all this platforming stuff, and now we're back in the platforming stuff, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I did not want to do more platforming stuff. This one, it's strange. It felt safer than the Crystal Cave because you could see things. But then as you get deeper and deeper and deeper, you start to feel less safe because you think to yourself, yo, if I die now, I'm pretty far from that bonfire. I'm going to have to redo a lot. And there was places where you had to drop, and there was places where you had to like things that like started to get more difficult, and you were starting to get worried. And then the frogs start showing up here. I got more video for this. Then the frogs start showing up, and that's when it gets tough because now it's not just am I making it through the platforming sections. Now it's like Ooh, I fought some enemies. Now if I die, I'm gonna have to make it through the platforming and deal with the frogs again. And the frogs aren't particularly tough. Like I can one-shot them. They're actual basilisks. They just look like frogs. They're frogs. I'm pretty sure they're called basilisks in the game. But they got the cloud, they got the curse cloud. And now that I know what curse does, I really don't want to get cursed. I really don't want to get cursed. And it's like, you don't have to worry about him killing you. You have to worry about that cloud building up the thing. And then I'm pretty sure the curse insta kills you. And then you've got to play with half health and stuff. It's just a rough time. And so you get what you're seeing here is you get what seems to be the bottom. And then you realize there's more holes, and it's like the halfway point, and you're still going down. It's absolutely terrible. Oh, I keep ruining the magic. It's absolutely terrible, but you just keep doing it. And then we actually got this far. Here, I'll show you this next. It was just this cat. I'm just showing clips today, but we actually got pretty far in it, and I had not died. Well, I died at the beginning, but it wasn't too bad. So we started getting down here. It's really tense. I'm freaking out. I'm like, are we gonna pull it off? I started to see some mushrooms down the bottom. I'm thinking we're gonna get there, right? And well, we might have not succeeded too much. So we had a little bit of trouble trying to get an item, and that's when it hurt because we died, and then we had to start over. That's when I realized just how tense the area was. Like it wasn't too bad. I thought we were doing okay. And I figured like, yo, we saw like we're almost to the bottom. We're gonna get through this. And then it was just like, boom, it all hits. And I'm like, I have to go. See, that's the bottom. That's how close we were. And I was like, oh no, I have to start all the way over. I'm back here at the top. And I was flipping out, right? Like it was just bring you back. It ended up being like just way tenser than I thought, because I thought it was going to be easier than the Crystal Cave. And the Crystal Cave was really tense, but honestly this started out simpler. It's like it was, oh no, it's got these roots, I can see what's going on. It's just confusing. It's not tense. But no, man, the further you get from that bonfire, that tension rises. It's that haunted house effect. It gets scarier and scarier, and you're like, what's gonna be around the next corner, man? I'm so far from that bonfire. I don't want to go back, man. I don't want to go back. And I was pretty far, and I was tense, and then you die, and then all that tension just releases, right? Like the skeleton pops out of the window, and you're like, ah, and you're like, oh, goodness, they got me. So it took us a couple more tries, but we did finally get down through all the frogs, through the mushrooms. Finally got the mushroom in again. I had to kill the little tiny mushroom boys, and they made the terrible scream. I didn't kill the tiny mushroom boys in the forest because they didn't attack me. Killed the big ones because they did, but this time they all attacked me. But I tell you what was cool. So you got to remember, this is a super secret area, right? You have to go through two secret walls. So this is super secret area, and you finally get to the bottom of this route. This is where I'll have something to talk about. It's not just a recap. So if you're like, is he gonna actually say anything, really? Well, maybe. But you finally get to the bottom, and it gives you a white wall. I was like, oh no, you're not gonna make me fight a boss. It was so hard to get to the bottom, and now you're gonna white wall me. Don't white wall me. But you go through the white wall, and it's not a boss. It opens up to another area. It flashes on your screen, Ash Lake, right? And then you're freaking out, and you're kind of walking through, trying to figure. It's like, oh, what is this blue stuff? And you're trying to figure out what's going on. And then the whole area opens up, and you realize you're in this wide open area. The camera's kind of blocking it. Good job, Kevin. You're in this wide open area, and it's all just like tree stumps. you just it's Ash Lake is this continuous blue expanse of infinite water, and there is just ash, and there is trees, and there are dragons. Except you don't really see too many dragons. There's like a hydra off the ways that I don't know, maybe I'll let it roll till we see it, but I think I was just so scared at this point. I was just moving really, really slow. You could see a bonfire just when you come in. It's like off to the side. And I'm like, oh, do I need to get to that bonfire? But yeah, you see right, and there's a hydra, right? So it's like ash and trees and dragons. And that's kind of the relevant thing I want to talk about, just quickly, is that I finally rewatched the opening cinematic because I kept feeling like I was missing some pieces. Like we were getting some lore that was pretty interesting, and it was talking about the beginning of the world and stuff, and the way things were set in motion. And I was like, I think they talked about this in the opening cinematic, but I can't remember. And so I finally got to see it again. It was sent to me very kindly in a DM, and I finally got to watch it again. And believe it or not, what it talks about is in the beginning there was ash. Everything, it says in the beginning everything was gray, right? Everything was ash, trees, and dragons. And so I watched that today before stream. I finally watched it, and then what do we do on stream? We get here, and it's all ash and trees and dragons, and I'm like, what? This is like the untouched area. This is the place that's still primordial, right? This is this is the place where it was before the fire came, and the age that we are essentially seeing the ruin of, because that's the age of Gwyn, and that's the age of, I think they had like, what was his name, Nito. They had several people get the fire, and it gave them the power to fight the dragons, and they like killed all the dragons. They even brought up Seath in the intro cinematic, where because he was the only dragon that was kind of still around because he betrayed the dragons. And so it was really cool just to be like, that's what it all was, to really like, okay, that's where we are. And then the fire, which was made of souls that they all used, that the things from the darkness, right? Because the fire brought ended the gray. Now there's light and dark, right? Now there's heat and cold. There's movement in the world again, right? And then it said, out of the dark things got the fire, and Gwyn was one of those things. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight or whatever, listed as one of those things from the darkness. So you're like, because the first thing they show you is Nito, and he's like this big lich with the lich of skulls. You're like, yeah, it's all the zombies came from the darkness. And then they show you the witch at Izalith, and they show Gwyn. You're like, wait, isn't he the good guy that was like made everything great, and now we have a problem because he's gone? And then they show you the pygmy, and it's like, wait, what? Wait, if he's a thing from the darkness, you really? So it was just these people found power in the fire, and that let them conquer the dragons, and that was it. That's what's going on, and now that fire's faded, because that's how they interested in it. Now the fire's down to embers, and we got problems again. Now the fire went down to embers, and then the cursed sign of undeath starts to appear, which is that ring. And then of course, you start the game with the ring, and you are a cursed undead, and you don't die, and so they send you to the asylum, and then you get out, and you find the realm of the undead that all the castles are built in, and you find out and then you start to try to piece together. So you're kind of in the ruins of that age of fire, and here we're seeing the ruins of the previous age. And it's very interesting. So it was really fun. Here I got this. We'll talk through this one. It was really fun to be down there, just in light of all that like lore thinking and stuff. I really quite enjoyed it. But you go through there, it's actually a pretty simple area. It plays like really cool, like chorus music, like choir music, like that kind of haunting, like organ church music kind of thing. And there's a few enemies. There's like one stump you can go in, But really, you're just going to that big stump at the end, and that's what this is now. I'm walking into it because it's you get a really cool visual. So I kind of wanted to show it to you. But you just keep going through. There's a couple clams, the same clams that we found outside of Seath area, which I guess makes sense, right? Because he was a dragon, and now we're in Dragon Town and we're seeing him. So you finally just go through the end and you kill some mushrooms, and it's not much. It's just a showpiece area. But you get to the end and the last part of this. Now I'm half tempted to think that like you could walk across Ash Lake or something, because the last lake we found, which was the lake in Darkroot Basin, you could find a secret way across. You could walk across the whole lake, see the other side. But I feel like this place doesn't have that because it's just supposed to be a showpiece area. But you get all the way to the end. You go into the big stump that you can see, and oh my god, there's still a dragon left. And he's still here, and you're like, ooh, there's a bonfire in front of him, which you can't. There, you can see. Camera's blocking it half the time. And you. Oh. It's just so. You remember, you are in the secret of secret areas, right? This is a totally super optional, mega secret area. You don't know what's going on. You walk through this crazy area that references, a previous age. That's really all there is. And you finally get to the end through this amazing cinematic like walking space. And then there's this big dragon. And he opens up. And you can talk to him. He doesn't really say anything. He's apparently the eternal dragon. It just, you walk up to him and it just says pray to the immortal dragons. And because you're right, remember it's a super secret area, so what could they possibly put here game mechanic wise? It's a covenant. You can talk to him, he doesn't say anything, but if you talk to him, he lets you join the covenant, and the covenant is about the immortal dragons covenant, and it's all about like people who want to become dragons. They like worship the dragons. It's the lore you see on the dragon scales, I think is the one. And it's like the people want to worship it, they want to become the dragons, they want to become immortal like the dragons, and so they try to become dragons by worshiping and doing. So what you can do, I looked it up, like the whole mechanic with this covenant is you can offer this guy dragon scales, and he gives you items that let you transform into a dragon. So he gave us one just for getting down here. You always just join the covenant just to see what happens. And he gives you the ability to invade other players for the opportunity to pillage dragon scales from them. I don't know if it actually steals them but from them, but you do. If you win the invasion, supposedly you'll get a dragon scale. And he also gives you a dragon head item. I thought it was consumable, but everybody told me to use it. It's not consumable. And what it does, you have to take your helmet off, but it turns your head into a dragon, and then you can use it again to breathe fire. And apparently, if you give this guy like 30 dragon scales or something, you can get a torso too, and you can become like, it's kind of like being a werewolf in Skyrim or something. You could become a dragon and run around as a dragon. But I mean, you don't look like a dragon. You look like a werewolf version, like a Skyrim werewolf version of a dragon. But I don't know, right? Because this is a super secret bonus thing for people who find the super secret bonus, right? So what a cool, like, it's nothing super necessary. It's nothing super game breaking. It's just a really cool reward. It's like, well, you can do a PvP thing, and you can become a dragon werewolf, a were dragon. And it's really neat that it's tied to PvP, because if someone manages to find this, then they're gonna start doing some PvP stuff, and they might do it with a dragon head, and people will be like, how do you get a dragon head? And then, right, people are going to talk about it. They're going to try to figure out what's going on. And then more people are going to find the secret, right? So it's a super, super secret, but you build it into the community discourse so that like it naturally causes conversation. So then the secret will spread as long as somebody finds it. And I think that's, and engages with the mechanic. So I think that's really, really cool. Everybody told me to like go cut his tail. And I had to look it up because I was like late. I was streamed late. I'm still late now. And so I looked it up. I was trying, are y'all trolling me? Am I gonna delete this NPC? And no, you can cut his tail and get a dragon weapon. And he's fine. He doesn't mind, I guess. So, he's the eternal dragon. He's immortal. Whatever. I mean, everybody here is immortal. I mean, we're all undead, right? So I don't know. I guess the dragons aren't. I guess they're just immortal. But I guess no, I mean the other ones died. Maybe it's just him. I don't know. So that's we got the cool weapon, and it's like a great sword that has a special that uses way too much durability, but it sends out a cool shockwave, so it's really fun. It's a cool weapon, but the whole like you can only do it one of your moves. You can only do 8 times for the weapon breaks. Just means I just won't use it. It's just I don't know. I don't like that system. But it was a very cool day. I think we warped back to Firelink Shrine, and I guess I only need one more dragon scale. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do an invasion and try to steal somebody's or something to get that last dragon scale for our fists. But we'll do the catacombs next. But it was just a very exciting day. Just this game, I mentioned it yesterday, but this game's ability to make you feel like you're really discovering new areas that you had no idea were there, that just all of a sudden the game opens up and shows you something really, really cool. People talk about that for this series, and they talk about it even with the latest release in the series, which is Elden Ring. Like this still kind of happens. I think there's a specific place in Elden Ring that's like a secret area within a secret area within a secret area, right? And it's just I love that feeling. Not many games give me that feeling. It's one of the reasons I love Metroidvanias, because they give me that feeling. And I talked yesterday about what was it, Hollow Knight. The last time I really felt like this so often was in Hollow Knight, because it would do that. You would just fall down a hole and boom, a new area. Boom, a whole half of the map opens up. God, it's just I don't know how to explain that feeling, but it is remarkable, and it's one I've only found in video games. I can remember being a little kid playing World of Warcraft. Well, I guess I wasn't that little, but Captain's kind of old. But playing World of Warcraft and rolling a night elf druid, and you get the little starter area, like the level 5 or something starter area, not the starter zone, not Teldrassil, the little inside the little tiny bit in Teldrassil where everybody starts and they kind of teach you how to play. I remember doing that and spending a long time on it, and it just being so big and immersive and loving the game and thinking it was awesome. And then they told me to like, yo, go past the tree now. Because in Teldrassil it's kind of like closed in. It's like you're in a tree stump, but it's really big. And then go past that and go to the next village. And I was like, what? And then I walked out of it, and you walk into the rest of Teldrassil, like the rest of the zone. And I like pulled up and I was like, whoa. I didn't know all this. I thought the game was just that little zone in the middle. And then I opened the map and I realized that little thing was like this big on this chunk of map. And then you zoom that out, and that map is like this chunk on a whole continent, and there's 2 of them. And I like my mind was blown. My mind was blown. I was gone, dude. I was on the bed staring at the sky, contemplating the universe, because it was mind blowing. Like that kind of like realization of expansion is something that's only really happened to me in video games, and it's such God. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. That realization. There's so much more that you didn't even know. I guess it's probably akin to like science. Like if you're learning about science and you're like, yes, the most basic elements are fire and water, and then it's like actually it's the periodic table of elements, and then it's like actually it's electrons and positrons and I've forgotten the name, neutron. I've forgotten the name of them. It's been a while. And then it's like, actually, it's like quarks and strings and shit. And you're like, right, it just keeps going. And you can do that bigger too. It's like, here's the planet. It's like, here's Here's the solar system. Oh, here's the galaxy. Oh shit, there's lots of galaxies. Right? That kind of feeling of discovery, of there's always more. Um, I think the world's designed, or the universe is designed that way, just so you can, no matter how far we make, no matter how much progress we make, there'll always be something more to inspire us. I don't think we'll ever find an end. I think that's intentional. But I don't make scientific discoveries. I play video games, so I feel it in things like this. And today was just a really hype day for finding a big secret and feeling really good about it. So I was excited. It was a good day. What we'll do next, we'll probably do the catacombs. Then I guess we'll do the demon ruins, and then who knows? I still got to find 2 golden doors. I have a feeling they're in the catacombs and the demon ruins. But and then we got to find a bee to fill up the Lord vessel and stuff. But I told you I get to talking. I get to talking and we find things to talk about. But that was my journey from beating up a skeleton to finding the secret in Blighttown, dropping down the Great Hollow, and walking across Ash Lake and finding the Eternal Dragon. I think his name is the Eternal Dragon. I had to wiki that, but I think that's what it is. So I hope you enjoyed my recap today, my diary, my Dark Souls diary number 26. And I hope you have I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope whatever you're doing is good and fun, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later. I won't do the click today. You can let me know if it's weird or not. But I'll see you around.